Stand back! Stand back! Move back! This is the freedom. I'm coming to my process immigration.
Sir, what country are you from?
I'm from Western Sahara. Go ahead.
Portland once again became the epicenter of national protest tensions this week. Demonstrators gathered outside the ICE facility, demanding an end to aggressive immigration policies. The crowd swelled into the hundreds, chanting and holding signs into the night. Federal officers in riot gear responded with barricades and warnings to disperse. Tensions escalated as protesters accused agents of intimidation tactics. What began as a peaceful demonstration soon took a dramatic turn. Witnesses described scenes of chaos outside the ICE building. Protesters said officers fired flashbangs and pepper spray into the crowd. Some demonstrators responded by throwing water bottles and chanting louder. Police declared the gathering an unlawful assembly shortly after midnight. Several arrests were made as federal agents pushed protesters back from the facility. Videos from the scene quickly spread across social media, fueling outrage.
It's been months since Robin Handa has returned to his parents in Kurukshetra, north of New Delhi, but he's still in disbelief.
The hopes and dreams I had with me were not fulfilled. They directly put us on a plane to India.
26-year-old Robin is one of over 1,700 Indians the US has deported since Donald Trump started his second term. He was among the first 104 undocumented Indians flown in on a US military plane in February. For him, the 40-hour flight was extremely humiliating.
We were not criminals. In the plane there were small kids, 2, 3, 5-year-olds and women. Even they were handcuffed, and their feet were also shackled like mine.
Organisers say the protest was about more than just one facility. Activists accused ICE of separating families and targeting vulnerable immigrants. They also criticised the Biden administration for failing to dismantle detention centres. For many, Portland has become a symbol of resistance against federal overreach. Chants of Abolish ICE echoed throughout the night from protesters. The demands were loud, clear and unrelenting despite the heavy police presence. Federal officers defended their response to the protests. They claimed demonstrators vandalised property and attempted to breach the facility gates. Officials said their use of force was necessary to protect staff inside. Critics, however, argue that the escalation only made tensions worse. Community leaders accused ICE of provoking violence instead of de-escalating. The clash left the city divided over accountability and blame. The protests brought back memories of 2020 for many Portlanders. That year, the city witnessed nightly clashes between protesters and federal officers. Tear gas, arrests, and street confrontations became a national story then. Residents say this week felt like déjà vu, with ICE again at the centre. The same streets once filled with calls for racial justice are now filled again. Many fear Portland is trapped in a cycle of protest and confrontation. Local leaders voiced concerns after the protests turned violent. City council members said the federal response was excessive and dangerous. They emphasised the community's right to protest without fear of crackdown. Advocates demanded transparency in how ICE handles protests outside its facilities. Some leaders even called for a federal review of the night's events. The tension is raising new questions about Portland's relationship with federal law enforcement. Protesters insisted their actions were a form of civil disobedience. They accused ICE of operating in secrecy and violating human rights. Banners reading, "Families belong together" and "End deportations" were displayed. Organisers stressed that the movement is not about destruction, but about justice. Despite arrests, many pledged to return to the streets again. The message was clear: the fight against ICE is far from over. National reaction to the Portland protests has been sharp. Some lawmakers criticised protesters for clashing with federal agents. Others condemned ICE for using military-style tactics against civilians. Civil rights groups quickly weighed in, calling for an investigation. Immigrant advocacy organisations used the moment to highlight stories of detainees. The debate over ICE has now reignited at both local and federal levels. T.
Undercooked and sometimes even filled with maggots, along with a lack and neglect of medical or even access to treatment. They say sometimes their requests are met weeks later with ibuprofen or Tylenol, but they say it goes far beyond that.
They're not giving people due process, the full court proceedings that they need, either to get out of detention or out of deportation proceedings. But even when they are, several, like Kuya Max here, was released. He's here with his union and community members who've helped him to get out of detention. But he was unjustly detained, and so many more are facing that unjust detention.
What you're hearing isn't just a day of protest. It's a continuation of a broader resistance movement. They say the detention of migrants, asylum seekers, even those with legal status, is intensifying across the country as the Trump administration aims to deport as many as they possibly can. They say right now, families of mixed status are especially fearful, yet they're prepared to fight if and when troops are deployed to sanctuary cities, as White House has repeatedly mentioned.
Residents living near the facility say they felt trapped by the clashes. Many described being woken up by flashbangs and loud police orders. Some expressed sympathy for protesters, but fear for their neighbourhood safety. Others criticised ICE for bringing unrest to their community repeatedly. The sounds of shouting, sirens and helicopters filled the Portland night. For locals, it was another exhausting chapter in a long-running battle. The arrests during the protests are drawing scrutiny from legal experts. Attorneys say some protesters were detained without clear cause. Videos appear to show individuals taken by federal officers in unmarked vans. That tactic, first seen in 2020, has resurfaced and raised alarm again. Civil liberties groups vowed to challenge the legality of such arrests. Lawsuits could soon follow, keeping ICE under the spotlight for weeks to come.
It's Labor Day. They planned something fun. Sarcasm. But. Your poor dog. I'm so sorry.
Protesters say the fight is bigger than Portland alone. They believe their city represents a front line in the national debate on immigration. Across the country, activists are watching Portland for inspiration and strategy. Many groups have pledged solidarity with those arrested this week. Immigration reform organisations are amplifying their calls for change. Portland may be just one city, but its protests echo nationwide. As the city clears debris, questions remain about what comes next. Will ICE increase security at the Portland facility in response? Will protesters escalate their tactics to keep pressure on federal authorities? Thank you for watching, and if you liked our content, please support us by giving a like to the video and share it. Meanwhile, and for more content like this, subscribe to the channel. The battle between ICE and Portland protesters shows no sign of ending soon.